Howdy, how are you? I said that because I'm calling this a barn charming day card. What do you think? This is JilliBling. Today is project number 1 of Charming Day. So I'm going to do a series of 3 and they're all going to be a bit advanced, a bit yummy. So here's the first one. Isn't that fun? I love this card. Okay, so we'll use Charming Day bundle, tags of things, just for this little friend. Oh, did you notice the friend right here on the tag? It's a little bit quiet, but it's really sweet. Charming Day dies, Spotlight on Nature die for this circle right here, and perennial postage for the postage stamp. Did I show you the inside? Yeah, I did. I keep thinking I want to add color to the white, but I really like how fresh it is. So, and this is plain old white, and there's plain old white here. So I'm trying to stick with it. Okay, so I have a few parts of it already done, but you will definitely see all the different parts. I think one of the most stunning, dramatic part of this project is these leaves right here. They were white, and it has 1, 2, 3 different layers of color to get that great texture. And these have 2 layers of color with water painters. Okay. While I was waiting for Tony to go outside, because he's just noisy. He doesn't know he's noisy, but he's noisy. I started working on the next one. It's so pretty. I'll show you just a little bit of it. Like I said, this is a series of 3. This is number 1. Number 2 is going to be a tri-panel. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. That's as far as I got. I don't know what else. Okay, so Mossy Meadow Leaf is part of Charming Day dies. Let's just get all of our elements together. That would be a good thing. So this die right here, cut out one of those. There it is. Is it just one? Just one. I was trying to add one into here, but it didn't work out. Okay, and the white, I will do the big, hold on. Okay. Okay, we're good. I don't know why that always happens. I think it's allergies. Okay, so the white paper, this paper, I will do 2 of this die, and I've used this one so many times, and 1 of this flower, which is on the middle panel, and that's it. Oh, am I supposed to have 2? No, just 1. 1 of the big one. Okay, and I have them partially done, but don't worry. We will do, see how this one I have the green leaves done? But we'll do these green leaves here before they're attached. So don't worry, you're not missing out, but it'll make the time go by a little quicker. Okay, so we have those. And the circle, 2 of those, which is on this paper, and this is Country Woods paper. Those 2 are here. Petal Pink, do 1 flower and 2 branches. So this branch, this flower, 2 of these, 1 of this. That's not done. And if you're like, oh, you already did it, I didn't do the top part, so we could do that together. The coloring on it. And finally, postage stamp die. The biggest one, I'll do these 2 panels with that. And I have one of them stamped. I haven't stamped this one, but this one I stamped with the big leaves down here in the bottom, big leaves in the bottom, trying to leave this space a little bit white. And that's for the top, right up here, to leave this a little bit calm, because there's a lot going on the card front. Okay, we have a lot of elements done, so let's start building this. See how far we get. Then we'll do some watercoloring. So I have 2 pieces of basic gray paper. The paper cut sizes are in the video description. And one of these I took off just a little bit of the width. And when I say a little bit, I'm talking maybe a 32nd or a 16th of an inch. Every time I do it, it's a little bit different. And that's just so the cards, like see when they're here together, and this bottom panel, this inside panel fits right inside of there. If it was the same length, it would be sticking out just a little bit here. And that's why cutting off that little bit makes all the difference. So let's see which one is bigger. This back one is bigger. And when I hold it up, you're gonna say, well, that's not really that much difference. And it isn't. But when you're making the card, it's nice. Can you tell how small of an amount it is? Just a little bit. Okay, so this one's smaller, so it's going to go right in here. So I'm going to put glue all over this and attach them. Glue, especially on this outside folded edge. And I'm putting especially a little bit more glue right out here, because I put this in place, that has no pressure on it. Straight, straight. Put this right here. I just want it to be as one card. Okay. These are inside papers. I could do that. I could put the inside crumb cake paper in. I just lifted that. It's still good here. I guess I was just focusing on that outside edge. So much that one. Okay, so there's 3 pieces of crumb cake paper, and each of these panels get a piece of crumb cake paper. Okay, and then this one, go right here. That's inside. This one, we're going to stamp on it. Then there's this one for the top. And these all just get put on. If you really wanted to get fancy, you could put it on with dimensionals. But there's so many layers to this card, I thought, I'll just keep it all flat. Okay, and this paper is good for here. Let's stamp this inside paper here in just a minute. For now, this can be attached. There's no wrong side to this paper. They all just have a different feel. And I did that background stamp here, or the big stamp right here and here, leaving that a little bit clear. And that was stamped in Smoky Slate? Smoky Slate. The words are stamped in basic gray. Okay, so this paper, let's stamp on here. And these I'm just trying to occupy the midpoint and leave the perimeter void of extra texture. So, Old Olive Mossy Meadow, Basic Gray Smoky Slate, Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink. So I'm going to use Smoky Slate. Right in the middle. I'll turn it over. And that's just to bring the whole flavor, the whole design through on all the panels of the card. And yes, that does look a little funky because it's overlapped, but we're going to decorate that area. Okay, and then we could attach this to the middle. This is for the inside, the middle panel. Right in the middle of the card, maybe up a little bit high. Right there, and I'm having the grain go horizontal, where the grain on this postage stamp goes vertical. That could be attached. Right there in the middle. Doesn't that look good? Look at all the colors coming together. And then we're going to add white, green, and Petal Pink Flirty Flamingo. Okay, let's work on the front. So the front, we'll attach this right over here. Once again, going horizontal. And I'm having it just a little bit over the edge, just to make it a little, I'll put it down so you can see the flowers a little bit. Over the edge just a little bit, so to make sure you know it's there. And let's get to watercoloring. What do we have here? We can watercolor the flower just a little bit. So that's going to be watercolored with Petal Pink and Flirty Flamingo, the same as this Petal Pink piece. So let's pull out all the Petal Pink pieces. This one here is the same branch, but I divided one branch into two, and so that will need to be colored too. Okay, so this one is done. So we can finish up that one and put a little bit of color on the flower right down there. And a lot of it is covered up. So to put the coloring on, I'm going to use my water painter or aqua painter, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I have some green in there. That wouldn't be good for doing Petal Pink. Okay, it's cleared out now. So I like to use blocks for my palette. And I do that just because in the past I would take my aqua painter and dip it right into here. That worked great, but then I'd be left with a really light spot and I'd have to re-ink it. And I found that if you do it this way, where you put the ink right onto the block, I have a lot more control and I don't have to be re-inking it all the time. Same with Petal Pink. We'll be using a lot of Petal Pink, more than any of the other colors, therefore a bigger block. And I can re-ink it too. Okay, so to apply the ink on both of them, this branch and the flower, I'm going to start with the lighter color, which is Petal Pink. Just pick up some of it and just put it in strategic places. Strategic places doesn't really tell you where, but it's really random. So when I hold this up, you'll say, hey, yeah, you put some ink on there. It's a little bit ugly, but that's kind of going with this country theme. So can you see where the ink is applied? And it's going to dry lighter than that. Okay, so for the branch, I'll hold it up close. for the branch, I'm going to start out by applying petal pink as dark as I can. And keep in mind it's petal pink paper and I'm putting petal pink ink on it. So you would think, well, you're not going to be able to see one color on top of another, but it does make it just a little bit different. Is it really darker? No, just a little different, perhaps a little bit more yellow petal pink than what we see on the paper. So I'm going to pick up some color and I'm going to start out by going on the branches and then swooshing up onto the leaf. Make sure you can see that. And this is just the first layer of color. I'm going to go back and I'll do the Fleur de Flamingo, which will be brighter, much pinker. But I'm going to do that more with a dry brush. But I'm going to wait until this dries. And you get a lot of depth when you add different layers of color. So even if I were to let this dry and go back and do more petal pink, it would be in different areas. It'd be darker in some areas. And I purposely want it to be different. Like when you look at these leaves, that one is very pink. This one's a little bit softer. When you look at the berries, that one's light, that one's dark. But that's what makes it look a bit artsy, and it makes it look handmade. Okay, so I'm done with petal pink, but I'm going to let these two dry. Clear out the brush. I'll come back and do Fleur de Flamingo in just a few minutes after that dries. Okay, so to do the green, this one is done. I love how that one came out. And this idea came from a sample in the catalog. This is an online exclusive, and it was the not the suite, but the bundle had this sample or something with this type of watercoloring. And I thought, let me give it a try. I'm not sure how they did that effect, but it was a lot easier than I thought. So I kind of copied the catalog. Okay, so on here is Old Olive. So first I'm going to give this a little watercolor wash. I could see it's wet. I'm going to pick up some color, and I just want to apply it light so the whole leaf looks green. And if there's some parts that are lighter than others, darker than others, that's okay. But I don't want it to be super heavy. So see how that's just a light Old Olive, a washed out Old Olive. And I'm taking it right next to this little white flower. Okay, that's done. You could see it's getting close to looking like that. And when you compare one leaf to the other, they are very different. Okay, do the watercolor wash. It's fine if there's some Old Olive ink on there still. Pick up some ink, start right here, and just make it all light green. And what's the funniest thing, kind of strange, is you could see I'm going for 100% coverage on these leaves. When it dries, there's going to be some white spots. How does that happen? I don't know. But you could see I've got it all covered. Like even on this one right over there, it's white. There's no color on that right there. Why is that? I don't know. And I'm leaving that little tiny flower. I'm going to leave it white. Oh, I got a little heavy there. And keep in mind that this is Stampin' Up's white paper. So it's not really meant for watercoloring, so you can't keep going over and over and over it, especially when it's wet, because then it will kind of pell up, which isn't good. Okay, so that's it for now for Old Olive. So these can sit off to the side. Let's check our Fleur de Flamingo petal pink. Get the green out of the brush. Okay, so now I'm going to apply Flirty Flamingo to the flower. And let me see. Remember how I said that dipping the block right into the stamp pad lets you control it a little bit more? If you went right into the stamp pad, you'd have a lot of color on here. And what's going to happen when you touch your paper? You're going to have a lot of color. But when you do it on the block, see how I'm kind of messing with it over here? And it's getting waterier and waterier, which is what I want. And I know the top part is going to be covered, so I might test that. Oh, that looks good. I'm just going to go around the edges, not 100%, and then just to kind of accentuate the lines of the flower. And you could tell I am not being precise at all. But I want some areas left natural cardstock petal pink, some areas with the petal pink aqua painter, and then some areas Flirty Flamingo. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that. And the pictures that I put on my blog, you'll be able to see it, and that will confirm that it's not perfect at all. Okay, so now let's move to this right here. It's dried enough. So to do the brush strokes, the dry brush strokes, first I'm going to try to dry up my pen. I don't want to be squeezing this. I don't want to release a lot of water. If I had a paintbrush, I might even try that. And I'm going to pick up the ink, somewhat heavy, and just do it as a brush. Then I'm going to go and hit the berries. And I think with the brush tip leaning down, it just naturally gets water coming to it. But I'm trying to do it, oh, that one turned out good. More of a dry brush where you could see the bristles, the bristle marks. Especially on the green, the mossy meadow. That one turned out good. And I'm just doing the bottom part of it. Okay, so that one is done. So from afar, looking at it close, you're like, yep, I know exactly what you did. And even when you look at this one, you're probably saying, well, that was really watery. There's no brush strokes, but that's okay. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay, and onto the mossy. Mossy meadow on the leaves. This is kind of like the showstopper of the card. When you look at the card, like when you look at that, that's stunning. I think it's beautiful. When you look at this, I came back after dinner and I looked at it and it's like, I really like those leaves. So now when I hold this up close to the camera, you're going to see the brush strokes and you're going to say, I know exactly how you did that. And the same with the inside. This one is different. I think this one is a little bit stronger in color, but they're both still fun. Okay, so here we go for Mossy Meadow over the Old Olive. Okay, so no more pink in there. So I'm going to pick up the ink a little bit strong and isn't that cool? I don't know why I'm so fascinated with this. Gosh, what if I keep doing this on every project for the next few months? Oh, look at that one. Isn't that cool? So my little bristles on the end are separating because I'm not squeezing and getting any water out, but that's what's creating this streaky line effect. Oh, I'm so happy this is turning out. I was thinking, what if it just spurts the water the whole time? Maybe you have to find the right aqua painter too. Okay, there we go, we did it. So they look the same, huh? Yeah. Okay, get this cleared out, squeeze the tube, which will make the water run, which will clear out the bristles. Okay, so that's done. So now we have all the pieces done. It's just time to assemble. Oh, we have to do the greeting on the front. Okay, so here is smoky slate paper with basic gray. I'm going to stamp happy birthday and friend. I'm going to cut them out with my little cutter. Okay, yeah, let me try again. That one has a fuzzy on it. Which one is better? This one. And then friend. Okay. So on my paper trimmer, I'm going to cut out happy birthday. So it has just a little border all the way around it. Okay, so the friend is going to be as a tag. So the tag at the bottom, it has just a little V cut into it, and the top is tucked underneath the branch, and that's just flat. So this part is just flat. And then to do the V, cut right up in the middle. And then from this end to the middle, and then this side to the middle. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so we have the greeting done. I think it's just time to assemble. Okay, so the branch, I'm going to start out putting it on with liquid glue on the stem. And then the little leaves, I'll do half dimensionals or full dimensionals. But for right now, the berries and the stem is getting glue. Go right about here. Same placement as this one. Okay, and then the flowers, that's for the middle. These flowers are going to go on mostly with glue, And then the leaves, the green leaves, will get dimensionals. And some of this white flower at the top has dimensionals. So that will go right about here, there. Okay, same thing with the Mossy Meadow branch. Glue in the middle, and then I'll put dimensionals under each of the leaves. Middle, 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 middle. So this is going to tuck underneath the greeting, and the greeting will go on with dimensionals. And I'm not going to put it down too hard because I still need to put this double bow under the greeting. So I'm going to try to cover up midpoint on here. I want the green leaves to show right there. Okay, and then some gold cord, a double bow. And maybe a bigger tail. Okay. And I'll put a glue dot on top of the knot and under the knot, and then stick it under that dimensional on the word label. Okay, I don't want these to be the same size, so pull them. Okay, 2 glue dots. And then remember how I didn't stick the word label down very hard? That's for this right here. I still need to put the flower. Oop. Okay, that's fine. Dimensional flower. I'll put that back under in just a minute. So this can go right about here. And again, I didn't push down hard because I still need to tuck the flower underneath. And the flower will just go on with glue in the middle and maybe dimensionals, depending on how much shows. I just want a little bit of it showing because it coordinates with the branch. Okay, let's see. There's a little flat. Okay. And then these strings, like the little tails, I might help them go where I think they need to go. That looks pretty good. Maybe you could twist. That looks good. To get it to hold it, so I'm going to put a little glue there, a little glue here, and kind of lock it into place. I'll have to let it set and dry for a few minutes. Dry. Okay, so the flower's in, so now I need to start tucking dimensionals under all these. And most likely it will be all little ones. Some half ones. Aren't those leaves pretty? I love how those turned out. More dimensionals. Did you know there's black dimensionals? I guess I could use this on the mossy meadow, but black dimensionals. And mini and regular. Let's see. See, that would be good on like dark color cards or Halloween. Okay, back to what I know. Love those leaves. I love how that turned out. Who knew? Unless you try, you don't know. And maybe a little bit under this petal pink flower, just the edge of it. Okay, we're about to move to the inside. Oh, we have to put the drucy dots on. I had to look up, what does drucy mean? And it's kind of like a geode. Oh look, that's staying in place. So yes, it does look like the inside of a geode. Okay, that's not staying down too well. So how about if I put this maybe right there. Okay, and here are jersey adhesive back embellishments. I'm going to use these gold. It kind of looks like a rose gold. It's just so pretty. So I use 2 of one size, 1 of another size. Use two large and 1 small. Okay, so there is the front. And this is on its way to being done. So I'm going to take the petal pink branch and I'm going to cut it right here. Right at that berry. And it cuts pretty well because it looks like two separate branches. Okay, and I won't know where to put those on until I put the flower on. So here's the flower. So again, you know, let me be smart about this because you know I'm going to put dimensionals under the leaves. So let me do dimensionals first, then I'll put the glue on, then I'll attach it. Okay, and then 2 halvesies for these little leaves. And 2 large dimensionals for the flower top. then glue on the stem. So I want the flower to land in the gray circle, just so that it's more visible. Put that like that. And before anything dries too much, I'm going to tuck these in. So this one can tuck. I'll put glue on the stem. And dimensionals on the leaves. I need more fingers. Okay, I'll do this one in just a minute. So this one is going to go right into here. So see how it looks like it's coming out from the stem? It's kind of hidden. And then this one, alright, so glue here. And part of this petal pink flirty flamingo is going to go right on top of that white flower. Okay, and to put the tag on, here it is. I'll do mini dimensional at the end of the tag, glue on the flat part of the tag, and I'm going to tuck it underneath this branch. Hoping there's a little wiggle room, but I think it dried. That's fine. And then that little bow will go on with a glue dot followed up with liquid glue. Kind of rolling it up just so it's a little smaller. Right over where the stem and the tag meet. And I want the little arms going down like that. So, glue, glue. And I'm purposely getting glue on these little legs so that I could do this. Okay, so for the inside, it's very simple. No greeting, so you can write whatever you like. Same as we did on the green leaves, and then I'll just do a little cloud of petal pink around it all. So I have that started. And it's right here. So the flower will remain white, so let's do the leaves and then the petal pink halo. So to do the leaves, I'm going to do it in, oops, stay right there, in Old Olive, and I'm going to do the wash all over all of the petal. And keep in mind, I stamped this with the basic, or the smoky slate, and that's a water-soluble ink. So you just want to know where you're going to put the water. I do the watercolor wash apply a little bit of color, and then be done with it. If you keep going over and over it, you'll kind of muddy up the stamped image, and that wouldn't be good. So, little wash over the whole thing, and then apply the green. And if it comes out streaky, it's okay, because you know what the next step is to do the mossy meadow and put streaks in there. Oops. So first, just light color. Okay, and now I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll go back and do the streaks with mossy meadow after the old olive dries. So now in petal pink, I might need to get more color. And make sure all the old olive is out. Okay, so this is something new. We haven't done this. So to do this, I'm going to make sure that there's plenty of liquid on the tip of the brush. I can see that the bristles are kind of sticking together. Do a little bit of touching it where you want the petal pink ink to go. Pick up just a little bit of ink, and it will naturally flow to those areas that you did the watercolor wash. Okay. And like that, I think it probably should be darker because it's way in a crevice. Let's pick up a little bit more ink. Let's make it a little darker. Okay, I'm going to kind of squeeze this, and I'm going to want petal pink here and up to the tip and right through there. And see how I'm working with just small areas? That's because I don't want that watercolor wash to dry up and be gone. If you were to go directly on the paper, without doing the watercolor wash, it's strong like that. And that's not very soft. Okay, so let's see. How much ink do I have on here? I'm not sure. So the next area I'm going to be working, I'm giving it a squeeze, is right in here. So this is the watercolor wash, just getting it so the paper isn't so dry. Picking up some color. And if you're unsure, just get a scratch paper and give it a try. And try again, just so you know what to expect. Okay, so that's all that's to doing that little halo around the white flowers. Okay, and now we could do the old olive like we did before, because that's, it's still a little bit wet. What if we attach that inside the card, and then I just got some old olive on there. And that will give it a second to dry. Okay. Still a little bit wet, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure the bristles are a bit dry. Go into the mossy meadow and just do the streaks. Just like we did on the front of the card. Ooh, that one turned out dark. Okay, there it is. So what do you think? Are you going to give the watercolor a try? Or you could just do blends, that's fine too. So there's that one. Here's this one. I'm going to put a block to hold that down just a little bit longer. And then there's the front. Okay, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe and like button. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.